Democrats are turning up the pressure on Donald Trump, and this time, they're not holding back. Calls for impeachment are no longer whispers, they're out in the open. Democratic leadership is now pushing to impeach the Secretary of Homeland Security, with House Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries announcing that a formal impeachment process is being prepared. According to Jeffries, the momentum is real and growing. This escalation comes at a brutal moment for Trump politically. New Reuters Ipsos polling shows his overall approval rating has dropped to 38%, the lowest of his presidency. His handling of immigration is doing no better, sinking to a record low 39%. Even more telling, a majority of Americans now believe ICE has gone too far. That sentiment is no longer confined to activists or critics, it's mainstream. Yet, despite the numbers, Trump landed in Iowa claiming the exact opposite. Speaking at a rally, he insisted his polling has never been better, brushing off criticism as fake and irrelevant. According to Trump, the real polls show overwhelming support, especially from his base. He even suggested that if he ran again, the public would be thrilled, an assertion wildly disconnected from the data currently on the table.
Well, they're not getting that anymore.
We were talking about the polls earlier. Clearly, your base is with you, strong and support. They're very
stronger than. By the way, our base. Our base is with us. I think they're the best poll numbers. The real poll numbers. I think we have the best poll numbers we've ever had. Think of it. If I would have run again, would anybody be happy? You know. So we have the best poll numbers we've ever had. Thank you all very much. I appreciate it.
Things took a darker turn when Trump was questioned about Alex Prey, who was shot and killed by Border Patrol agents. When asked whether he agreed with assessments from officials labeling Prey a domestic terrorist, Trump deflected. He said he hadn't heard that characterization, but repeatedly emphasized that Prey should not have been carrying a gun, criticizing the presence of loaded magazines and framing the killing as an unfortunate incident.
One number that's bad, can you tell? Is there one number that's bad? There's not one.
Do you agree with the assessment from some of your own officials that Alex Preddy is a domestic terrorist or an assassin?
Well, I haven't heard that, but certainly he shouldn't have been carrying a gun. But hey, look, bottom line, everybody in this room, we view that as a very unfortunate incident, okay? Right. Everyone, unless you're a stupid person, very, very unfortunate incident. I don't like that he had a gun. I don't like that he had 2 fully loaded magazines. That's a lot of bad stuff. And despite that, I say that's a very unfortunate incident.
The tone was dismissive, cold, and deeply unsettling. When a reporter pressed the issue further, Trump lashed out, branding her fake news and attacking her intelligence.
One number that's bad, can you tell? Is there one number that's bad? There's not one.
Do you agree with the assessment from some of your own officials that Alex Preddy is a domestic terrorist or an assassin?
Well, I haven't heard that, but certainly he shouldn't have been carrying a gun. But hey, look, bottom line, everybody in this room, we view that as a very unfortunate incident, okay? Right. Everyone, unless you're a stupid person, very, very unfortunate incident. I don't like that he had a gun. I don't like that he had 2 fully loaded magazines. That's a lot of bad stuff. And despite that, I say that's a very unfortunate incident.
Hear from Greg Abbott saying you need to recalibrate your response. What did you make of that?
No, I didn't hear that. Did you?
Yeah, absolutely.
It was a familiar pattern: dodge the substance, attack the messenger. Trump was also asked about criticism from Texas Governor Greg Abbott, who publicly suggested the administration needs to rethink its immigration strategy. Trump claimed he hadn't heard Abbott's comments, brushing them aside entirely. Meanwhile, Democratic leaders are sounding alarms. Jeffries issued a blistering statement condemning what he described as paramilitary tactics used by the Department of Homeland Security to terrorize Americans. He warned that if the DHS secretary is not fired immediately, House Democrats will initiate impeachment proceedings upon returning to session. "We can do this the easy way or the hard way," he said. Appearing in an interview, Jeffries didn't mince words. He said Americans are rightly disturbed and disgusted by seeing taxpayer dollars used to brutalize communities, kill citizens, and target law-abiding immigrant families.
Great to be with you. The American people are appropriately dismayed, disturbed, and disgusted by what they're seeing by their own government. Taxpayer dollars being used to kill American citizens, brutalize communities, and attack violently law-abiding immigrant families. It all has to end. And there's a variety of things that can be done.
According to him, this violence is not only immoral, it's a betrayal of the government's duty to protect its people. His message was clear: fire the DHS secretary now or face impeachment.
But Donald Trump can start by firing Kristi Noem immediately. We know Kristi Noem is a corrupt, despicable, pathological liar. She never should have been confirmed by Republicans in the Senate to begin with. And she's responsible in part for unleashing this kind of carnage that we're seeing in American communities. Federal taxpayer dollars should actually be used to make life better for the American people, to make life more affordable, to protect the health, the safety, and the well-being of everyday Americans, not kill them. So our position is pretty clear. Kristi Noem needs to be fired immediately, or House Democrats, upon our return to Congress next week, will begin the initiation of impeachment proceedings against her.
Jeffries accused the secretary of corruption, dishonesty, and direct responsibility for the chaos unfolding across American communities. He argued that federal resources should be used to lower costs, improve safety, and strengthen public health, not to unleash violence. If accountability doesn't come voluntarily, Democrats say they'll force it through congressional action. Complicating matters further, the House is currently in recess. Speaker Mike Johnson sent lawmakers home yet again, even as the government barrels toward another shutdown deadline. Critics argue this is deliberate, especially since any changes to Senate funding bills would require the House to reconvene. Johnson also remained silent for nearly 2 days following Alex Prey's killing, drawing further outrage.
This is not complicated, right? And the American people are appropriately demanding change to rein in this lawless organization. Our basic demand is simple. ICE and the other agencies within the Department of Homeland Security should conduct themselves like every other law enforcement agency in the country. And we know what that looks like. And we know that these paramilitary tactics have to end. Who signed up for ICE conducting itself like a secret police force for a wannabe king? I mean, these folks have gone too far. And I think the killing of Alex Preddy coming on the heels of the killing of Renee Nicole Good, and then the callousness of Kristi Noem's response, where she just lied to the American people, claimed that they were domestic terrorists. No, they're American patriots. And under her watch, they were killed in cold blood. That can't happen anymore.
Democrats in the Senate have signaled they will not approve additional funding for ICE and Border Patrol without significant changes. If revisions are made, the bill must return to the House, but the House isn't in session. The result? A shutdown looming on the horizon, once again tied to Trump-era hardline immigration policies. Jeffries compared the moment to the 43-day government shutdown under Trump, arguing that Republicans appear ready to shut down the government again, this time to protect what he called a lawless agency.
See, the House, unfortunately, as you've repeatedly and powerfully pointed out, Ben, under Republican leadership has been conducting itself not as a separate and co-equal branch of government, but as a wholly owned subsidiary of the Trump cartel. That's what we've seen from these Republicans. Why the mission of ICE is not what we are seeing. Donald Trump promised to go after violent felons. He ain't going after violent felons. They're going after American citizens and law-abiding immigrant families. So we're going to have to detail that in compelling ways using the tools that we have as members of Congress, even though we are in the minority. And that's exactly what we plan to do.
He said ICE must operate like every other law enforcement body in the country. Warrants, accountability, and respect for civil rights. No secret police tactics, no storming homes, no dragging people out of cars on their way to work or school. He pointed to the killings of Alex Prey and Renee Nicole Good, accusing DHS leadership of lying afterward by labeling the victims as terrorists. They were American patriots, Jeffries said, and they were killed under her watch. As for whether impeachment is politically possible in a Republican-controlled House, Jeffries acknowledged the challenge, but said public pressure is the key. He accused House Republicans of acting not as an independent branch of government, but as a subsidiary of Trump himself. Still, he argued that sustained pressure, public hearings, and transparency can force accountability even from reluctant Republicans. The plan, he said, is to use every tool available: committee hearings, public testimony, and relentless exposure of how far DHS has strayed from its stated mission. Trump promised to target violent criminals, Jeffries noted, but instead, the government is targeting citizens and families who pose no threat. This has gone too far, he said, and people must be held accountable.